Guys, it's been a minute, right? A minute since we last read any chapter on this channel of Katekyo Hitman REBORN. And while we're in the time frame of reviewing and going over the chapter, I want to show you guys a little something that I got recently. You don't know how happy I am to have this right now. Oh, bro, yo, we're gonna have to go into story time at the same time while doing the review and all that stuff while we're doing an unpacking at the same time of doing a review, right? So how do I open this? So we're doing chapter 134, right, of Katekyo Hitman REBORN, and this continues on basically where Zanzis, after chapter 133, he tries to put on the Vongola ring. This is the second one. That's a little later, you'll see. But he tried to put it on because he claims he won, even though Suna hit him with the 0-point breakthrough revised technique, and it melted because in order to melt the ice by a type of ice powers that's not typical by particular elements, regular water freezing at 0 degrees or whatever the case may be, opening this up, he used the rings. Look at that. Beautiful. And the back, Tsunayo Shisawa. I'm gonna be honest, this is my first ever Katekyo Hitman REBORN figurine, in all honesty. You might be like, what? How, Kimmy? I'm like, bro, for many years, I'm gonna be honest, if it wasn't for 2016, the anniversary starting from 2016, it would not have been possible to really find, especially here in the West, any merchandise. You might find stuff like the rings or necklaces or bracelets or stuff like that, but in terms of like stuff like this, and then you'll be paying an arm and a leg for it too. So it's just like, and then obviously the manga is a no-go because it stopped at volume 16. So you're paying how much? Volume 16 itself, I think it's like, the last time I checked, it was like $80-something. Hey, by the time you pay tax, that's like 90, very close to 100. Yeah, your girl is not doing that. So I am forever grateful. All I want now, and if I know you all can agree to this, is an anime. That's all we need. I'm getting my merchandise finally after basically a decade worth. A little bit more than a decade for me. I've been searching for merchandise, and now I'm finally getting it. But anyway, back to the review while I'm still doing the unpacking. Trying to take off the tape. Mamon used the 7 rings in order to melt the ice to free Zanzis. And then Zanzis put on the Vongola ring, and at first it looked like it was giving him power. He can feel the power going through his veins. And then it decided to hurt him. Come to find out in this chapter, your boy Zanzis, who's going about saying that once he gets accepted into the Vongola and everything, he's going to wipe out Suna and all them. The chapter opens up with, he's still spewing out blood and everything. The tape is so damn hard to take off of this. I just want to, sometimes you want to rip stuff with your teeth and all that. You shouldn't be doing that. Don't do that. Because you don't know where it's been. And then we see a panel where Suna's like 9th boss. Now this goes back to when the Hibari versus Zanzis, technically it was a Hibari versus a Golem Mosca, but then he wanted smoke with Zanzis as well. And then Suna intervened into that fight, and then the Golem Mosca that he did fight and cut down was containing the 9th. You have to remember, back in that chapter, the 9th gave a message to Suna through memories of a dying will flame, and then Suna's just like, whoa. That's when I told you guys, keep that in mind. Now you see why in this chapter, once that happened and the whole thing with Zanzis, and like the ring is literally quite rejecting Zanzis now starts to acknowledge like, oh, I had it coming. This is where he makes the announcement, not the narrator, not Suna, not anyone else. It's Zanzis. He makes the announcement saying that he and the 9th have no blood relation whatsoever. It's quite obvious because the ring is supposed to accept the person who declares himself as the new Vongola successor, right? You would have thought that, not it trying to immediately kill you, and you're spitting up blood, and you're getting injured and everything. No, it's not supposed to do that. But Zanzu said out of his own mouth that he and the Knight is not related. This causes everyone to be shocked except for Squalo. Even Suna is not so much. It's more like he's, in a way, I don't even want to say pitying Zanzus, but he does feel sympathy, right? In a way, still doesn't excuse the horrendous actions he did towards him and his friends, but still Suna is not so much as a monster as people would want him to be, or anything of that sort. Oh my god, look at my boy. Look at my son. Look at my, oh my god. So this is where Zanzu's like, yo, don't pity me or anything. And now this is where Squalo, when he came in, and we remember he went through a flashback. And he's showing that time where Zanzus and the Knight were fighting with each other. And that's when the Knight, put him through the freezing technique and everything. And that was the cradle incident. So in other words, this chapter is basically giving us a background even more in depth to the chapter when Squalo remembered the time where he was hearing the information behind the pillar with Zanzus and the Knight before the Knight froze him for how much years. Eventually somebody did unfreeze Zanzus, and then he came back and decided to do all of this. So the what you call it, the flashback, and what Squalo starts to explain in this chapter is basically that Zanzus was, he was born in the gutters. He was born in the projects, not the best environment for any child by his mother. And then one day he started to show his flame, and his mother had the delusion that because he had the same flames as the Knight, because more than likely the Knight was well known in the province of Italy, and everybody knew who he was. And then she believed because her son had the same flames, he is the son of the Knight. So one day she decided, let me go send a letter to this man who she never met in a day in her life. So how the heck is he having a son? Because you guys never met, y'all never, did the shebang thing. And then, you ran away and all that stuff. Typical type stories, right? Type stuff. And she brought him in the alleyway and then showed to the Knight, this is your son. And this is where Zanzus, a very young Zanzus, decided to show his flame to the Knight. And this is where the Knight decides, you know what? I'm going to accept you as my child and raise you as mine to be the successor of the Vongola. So Zanzus, in a way, because being accepted into Mafia and being one of the most powerful people, and this being one of the most powerful organizations, power went to Zanzus' head. No brainer. Look at how he's acting even now, right? Oh. Gotta push this down a little bit more. Oh, look at that. Look at my son. Look at him. Oh my god, look at that. Look, oh Lord. That's fire. I am so happy right now, bro. I'm so happy right now. Getting more merch. Definitely getting way more merch. But it started to get to his head. And he started treating people lesser than, because it's like, who you're talking to? I'm the Knight's son. Know your place and everything. He will look down on a lot of people. It came to the point now where by the time, he grows into his adulthood and everything, and he's feeling people trying to challenge him and all that, he decided to go into a room that was locked off to him from the Knight. He broke it apart. He broke the lock apart, and he went into that room and started to search stuff and everything. That's when he read the Knight's diary and found out that he and the Knight has no relations to each other. And in the actual, what made it burn even more, on top of finding out that that's not his actual father, he just took in a random child His mother, again, was delusional and just took a random child off the street, but still gave him a life to live despite, the mafia at this time and point. It's not the best environment to raise any child, but who cares? The knight accepted Zanzis as his son. What really left a burn, no pun intended, on Zanzis was that in that same diary, it was written that there was a law passed down within the Vongola organization that if one does not have the blood of the Vongola, they will never be accepted as a successor. So the fact that he has no blood relationship towards the knight, he is not his actual son. There's no DNA to support that. Nothing of the sort. And on top of that, now you're saying there is a law that can't be disputed. It is written that if you do not even have 1% blood relation to anyone in the family to signify that yes, you are the true successor, you can never ever run the Vongola family. You're basically an outsider. You will never be accepted. So this is what led to Zanzis being enraged that his father kept this secret from him, right? Led him to saying, the people that I was looking down on, I'm basically the same as them. This is what caused him to, gather the Varia together, told everybody about the plan, and then went about to, create a coup d'etat to destroy the entire Vongola and take it over for himself. And this is what led to the cradle incident, because he found out that his father is not actually his father. Okay, it was just a man that took a random kid off the street. And he felt so betrayed that he wanted to go and take the life of the knight and anyone else that supported him. Now, this is what led to Suna going to saying, this is what the knight told me. And he knew exactly what the outcome would be. But knowing the type of individual Zanzis is, he won't talk. He just wants, straight hands and end Suna's life. So no one can question him or anything about this stuff. Only he and those who are close to him will know of what happened during that day. Okay. So Suna's just like, you betrayed the knight who decided to take you in, who cared for you. And even though you betrayed him, he didn't kill you. He accepted you as you are. And this is the things he did. This is a slap in his face. Of course, Zanzis is telling him, like, I don't care what you have to say. Shut the F up. But Suna, at this, mind you, Suna is only 14. And he can even understand that, like, the knight cared about Zanzis, regardless of what type of blood relationship that they have with each other. He didn't care about no law. He didn't care about no blood. He looked at Zanzis as his own child. And the fact that Zanzis basically spat in the knight's face for this. You know how demeaning it has to feel for a child to speak sense to you, saying that what your actions did was complete BS? And Zanzis doesn't want to hear it. He's telling Suna to shut up. Don't talk to me about this unconditional love. But that was what the knight did. And again, this is the things he gets. You think any parent wants to tell their kid, hey, you're not actually blood, especially if they've been treating you good, if they actually love you as you are, they accept you as you are, despite not having no blood. You think any parent wants to gently tell any child that? No. Especially if the original parent is just saying, here, take this kid, this random child out of nowhere. He accepted Zanzis. No questions asked. And Zanzis still went about to do this. And it would have surprised me if the knight, after being betrayed like this, didn't actually proceed to actually end Zanzis' life. No, he said, no, I'm going to freeze you. And more likely, it hurt him to do so. Like, yes, he knows it's wrong that he didn't tell his son that you're actually adopted and everything. We're not blood related. But at the same time, it's just like, that shouldn't matter to you. And that definitely never mattered to me. But to Zanzis is just like, this feels like utter betrayal on my part. So no, you got to go. Everybody got to go. So, and the whole reason why he wanted to become, it's very superficial, very shallow on Zanz's part. And I know this might make some people feel like, dang, you were cooking before, but now this is the reason why you want to become Vongolo boss. Is because, simply put, you wanted people to worship you. You want all the scumbags to worship you and fear you. You wanted them to praise you for what? You know, so I can understand if people might deduct some cool points off of Zanzis for the reason why he wants to become the Vongolo boss. I understand, because to me, at that moment, he's still cool overall. As I've, read the series from beginning to end, Zanza still has a lot of cool factors to him, but this particular moment, it makes him seem extremely shallow on his reasons is to become the Vongolo boss. Now the chapter goes into, like, once everybody really finds out what's going on and everything, the surveillor is saying that he's not suitable for rings, which is true. The rings are deliberately killing him, because he's not the actual successor. So now Zanzis just like having enough of this stuff and wanting to clean slate, eradicate all evidence to make sure nobody talks about this day. He gives the orders to his men to take out everybody. So now everybody's gearing up. We have Urasuna's crew is coming through. Chrome is okay. Ryohei, Gokudera, and Yamamoto are ready to join into the fight. But now this is where Zanza and Hibari is there as well now too. This is where they're saying, we have more numbers against you guys because it's only like 2 of you standing. Leviton and Lusaria is still injured. They're taken out. So it's only you 2. Come to find out, the Varya said, oh, you thought you was going to really take us out this whole time without you guys knowing for this final fight? We called up 50 of our best men right under us to come and take all of you out. On top of that, when we think those who were spectators, Reborn, Dino, Colonello, and all of them, Basil, who's going to come and join into the fight to start fighting the rest of the Varya members, come to find out they tampered with the machine. So just when they were about to get out of the box, comes to find out there's invisible lines. Colonello was about to shoot up to break the machine, but the surveillor, when they created this, they made sure that, like, if anybody was trying to break out the box, that if they use anything to harm it from the inside out, the box would explode, effectively everybody in that box. So now the viewers, those who are watching the entire final fight, are trapped, and Suna is exhausted and injured. On top of that, we're having people that just came off from a life-inducing poison that was about to take them out, something that was strong enough to take out an elephant. Their bodies are worn down too, and now you're having 50 perfectly healthy additional assassins to come in and take everybody out. Where the surveillor was, one of the surveillor ladies were trying to say, what, we can't allow any outsiders to come in. Belle decides to cut her down, effectively killing her. And this is where they announce, the one that still survived is announcing, saying that the Varya is disqualified. They are no longer allowed to be successors or anything. The fight is completely done. And that led to them saying they can't get out the box and all of that stuff. So then we have where it's just like, bro, Goku there and them is just like, so it's only us 5 against like all of them? How the heck are we going to survive? At this point, Chrome, who is better than she was in the previous chapters, she starts to realize something. So she's holding her head and she's hearing, voice. Because remember, her and Mukuro can communicate with each other, despite Mukuro being held at the lowest floor of the, I forgot their name real quick, but the mafia police, the lowest floor. So every time he wants to be able to communicate or show his presence, he has to use Chrome as an interceptor to do whatever he needs to do, or talk to Ken and Chikusa, right? So she starts to hear Mukuro was telling her something, and she's saying there's people coming and someone's coming. You see at least 3 of the other Varya members come to the fray. They all look type goofy and all that stuff, but they are tip-top assassins. And we're thinking, okay, if those 3 show, then all the 47 others are going to show, and this is going to be a massacre on Suna's side, right? Come to find out that these members are starting to drop, and they're saying there's someone. All the other Varya members got taken out. There's no way of defeating him. This guy is like a demon, bro. Like, no breaks whatsoever. And just before he can finish his sentence, they look behind them. They got spooked. They look behind them, and all you see is this black something swirling in the page. And if you go back, it's not going to be a surprise on who this character is, okay? Because they left us with a cliffhanger. And yes, it is him. He finally came back. And you're gonna see him in action once again. I like literally I forgot his name, but he was one he basically played the fake Mukuro from the Kyoko land arc, and now he's finally come back to give a helping hand to Suna and the rest of them. So that's how the chapter ended off. So the Varya now has their back against the wall. Zons is not accepted as the Vongola successor. It's going to be Suna, but it's going to come at a cost, because basically he did 2 times the betrayal. Again, 2 times the betrayal. First with the cradle incident, and now he actually injured the 9th, which, by the way, is going to have where the Bendice, yes, the Bendice, is going to come in and have play their part, because he attacked the boss. Not once, but twice. And this one, he was using his life force to power a machine from war. To power that machine. On top of that, he went about to hurting the Cervello, and was about to take out the only true successor of the Vongola. So he has a lot of crimes against himself, which he'll have to answer. Him and the Varya are going to have to answer to the Vendice, which we will see in the next few chapters. So guys, if you've already read chapter 134, or you watched the anime version of this, I think it was like episode 50 or 60, somewhere along those lines, do tell me how you felt about it. If you saw it again, if there were some things you didn't notice the first time, do tell me in the comments down below. If it is your first time of reading and or watching Katekyo Hitman REBORN, do tell me how you felt about chapter 134. Do you expect to see not Luxuria, but not Luxuria. I forgot his name, but it starts with L. But were you surprised to actually see him make an appearance again after what happened with the Kyoko land arc? Like, we remember him getting taken away by the Bendice as well. How the heck did he, well, then again, did he escape them like Ken and Chikusa, or did he get bail? Do tell me your comments down below. Again, unpacking. I love this. I'm getting much more merchandise. Okay, way more than just the jewelry, because like I said, this has been a decade in the making, and your girl has been waiting long enough. Full video will also be on my Patreon, so you can go there and support. And I'm Kimmy-chan, and me and the Suna figurine will see you guys later. Bye. With